was so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Well, we have a large group of people to thank today once again for putting this all together. For setup, Ed DeMonico, thank you very much. Greeters, Tony Craig and John Williams. Ticket sales, Jamie and Marie. Invocation, past. Invocation, past President Jim Hunt. Song leader, Sidra Kane. Sergeant at Arms is past President Ginger Anderson. Our photographer today is Tina Bishop. Scribe, Nancy Anderson. AV team, Antoinette, David Jones, Kirk Holmes, Kirk Alexander, thank you all. And cleanup is David Jones and Kate Zavala, so thank you all. We have lots of introductions, I hope, today. So Sergeant at Arms, past President Ginger, where are you? There she is. Do we have any international visitors today? Having none, seeing none, no. All right. How about any visiting Rotarians? Do we have any of those today? Having none, seeing none. How about guests of Rotarians today? Do we have any of those? Oh, we have one over here. Arlene Seurat.
I have my returning friend, Vital Germain, visiting us again for the second time. And you should know that his birthday is this month.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Happy birthday, Vital. Any other guests of Rotarians? Melanie and Nikki, have we any guests of the club today? None. All right. Well, I have guests at the head table. We have, starting on this side, we have Don Holland, Ed DeMonico, our program chair, Greg McGuire, our speaker for today, Phil Klavorik, and Captain Kirk Holmes. So thank you all. And if we can just give a hand to everybody for setting up, putting it together, and welcoming our guests and visitors. We also have our birthday table, first meeting of the month. We have a variety of people, seeing some with birthdays, some without birthdays. So for those of you that have birthdays in the month of September, we'll start with the the dude, President-elect dude. Yes, you.
Okay.
You can start.
I'm always getting that finger at home too. I'm Sherry Brown. I've been in Rotary for 20 years, and I'm privileged to be here for like the last few months. Honored to be with the Las Vegas Rotary Club. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, I'm Sidra Kane, and I've been a member of this Rotary Club for 6 years now, I believe. And they've been 6 of the best years of my life. I've really enjoyed this, and everyone, I don't like being at a birthday table, but thank you for recognizing my birthday. To have lived this long is a privilege.
Good afternoon, Jeff Geis. I've been a Rotary member now about 3 months. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Continue to make new friends. Happy to be here. Thanks for letting us sit at this table today.
we have seat fillers, as they do in most award ceremonies. And those seat fillers are Will Abbott, past president Michael Ballard, and Carrie Nelson. We have one birthday boy that didn't make it to the birthday table. Can you go over to past president Richard Jost, please?
Fine, fine.
And I think, Richard, you're going to have to explain why you are not at the birthday table, so we don't have to fine you. You'll be exempt.
It would be my privilege to be fined. I was trying to weigh, did I want to be fined for not sitting at the birthday table or fined for sneaking out in the middle of the meeting when my air conditioner repairman calls? And I decided I wanted air conditioning. So here I am.
So you're exempt. You're exempt. And for our president, Katie Crockett, who maybe she's watching, happy birthday, because she's in the birthday month as well. Also on the birthday list, you'll see in your wheel the other individuals with September. It's a big month, and we wish everybody a happy birthday.
Are we
Oh.
gonna sing?
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. See, I have to remember these things. That would be Susan Ziabro. Thank you, past President Ginger.
You're welcome.
Covering my back.
Happy birthday, happy September birthday, Rotarians. Will you please join me in singing happy birthday to our Rotarians? That's your note. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
All right, past President Ginger, you ready for your steps? We
I'm
got
ready.
all kinds of announcements. First on our list is Marie Walsh.
Thank you, President-elect Tony. As you old timers know, I am the chair of Breakfast with Books at Beckley Elementary School. I am happy to say that we are going back into business. There is one big change. We are no longer going to be called Breakfast with Books. Our new name is Family Literacy Program. However, this is the only change that's being made. The program will go on as usual. We will need all your help as we always have. Now, the program is going to be every other month. We are starting on September the 13th, which I know isn't very good notice, but we just got the notice now. So it'll be November 13th, September 13th, November 8th, January 10th, March 14th, and May the 9th. All of you old timers, get out your yellow shirts. Wash them up and wear them that day. If you could be at Beckley between 7:15 and 7:30 that day, I would greatly appreciate it. I would love to see all the new members participate in this. It is a real fun thing. You don't have to worry about your job. When you come into the building, you just go straight ahead and look for me. I will be at the main table, and then I will tell you to proceed to the auditorium, and someone will be there to assign you a job. It's a wonderful experience, and I hope so many of you can come and join us. Thank you. And and I should mention, it's in the Green Book, so please sign up in the Green Book. Thank you.
For our new members, it's one of the many programs that we associate with Spread the Word Nevada. And you're either handing out something to drink or a snack, or you're organizing books. You just need to make it, and you can still get to your job on time. Up next is going to be, is John Pally here today? Okay, I think, John, you have a couple things to talk about for us.
What's the second thing?
If
Well,
you're-
we'll do the first and then we'll see if there's a second.
Okay,
How
do the
about that?
first.
Okay. So we are talking about sponsorships for the big Centennial Bash. And I know everyone's excited about this coming up April 1st. And we actually want to raise money. Can you believe that? So that's where everyone in the club comes in because we are looking for sponsors from everybody here and people you know. We're going to have a program. So we need, hopefully people will take out ads in that program. Maybe you know some businesses or other people that want to take out an ad. Oh my gosh, we have already sold a few things. That would, can you go back one, Dave? So this is pretty cool. And I know this will not surprise anyone. The minute we sent out the email, Tom Thomas steps up and he says, bam, $7,500. So yeah. And then about, let's see. It was the same day, but now I can't remember who it was. Who said $5,000? No. Oh, right. Janice. Oh, it's Ginger Anderson's husband. Thank you. Sorry, I'm like spacing on that. That's embarrassing. And then like an hour later, Russ Swain says, bam, $2,500. And then as I'm checking email at a red light, but I was at a red light, so that's hopefully semi-legal. Jim Cole sends an email, another $2,500. So that's in the first few days. Yes, we also have two half-page sponsors already. Larry, where's Larry? Who's about as much of a new member as me, I don't see him, and Tony and Jerry. But you're standing up here, so we'll give you the credit, Tony. Thank you. Seriously, thank you guys, everybody. All right, we hopefully will get more sponsorships, and we would love to talk about all of you in the coming weeks. We also have a ton of great branding opportunities for if you have a business or know someone that has a business that wants to get their name up. And then lastly, I think Jamie will be visiting some other clubs. We have a deal that we're going to present to the other clubs, hopefully get them in at $1,000 level. Hopefully, that's the plan. I think that's all I have for today. What was the second thing I was going to talk about?
Well, it's the committee.
Save the date card. Thank you. That's why she's in charge. So we are going to be sending out a save the date card. We want a sponsor. This, I don't have a picture of it. It looks awesome. It looks really, really good. And we would love to put someone's name on that. Oh yeah. Well, you can't quite see it, but anyway, this is what we call a great opportunity. So if someone wants to get their name on this, and we'll send that out to, I don't know, some number of hundreds of people. And
Centennial Committee meeting directly after this meeting.
Okay.
Place, I'm not quite sure what room
one of
we're
these
in,
rooms in here somewhere.
but please
Okay.
be sure you're there.
There you go.
Please be sure you're there. So thank you, John.
And by the way, the $7,500 sponsorship that Tom Thomas did, he didn't think we were charging enough, so he gave us 10,000 instead of 7,500.
Wow.
Thanks, Tom.
Next up happens to be past President Ginger. You have something to announce. Yay.
I'm up, yay. All right, well, I'm going to do a twofer here. First of all, just wanted to remind you, signups for Santa Claus volunteering and contributions are in the Green Book. Sign up early because everything we get before the end of October gets matched dollar for dollar by the Engelstad Foundation. And then in addition, we have a cool fundraiser coming up and Jim Hunt's going to fill you in.
Thank you, Ginger. Actually, Ginger gets all the credit for doing the groundwork on this, but what I'm going to talk about a little bit more today is probably the most fun way we've ever had in my 30 years in this club anyways, of raising money and for the foundation and for Santa Claus in the easiest, most fun way you could possibly do it. My daughter, her significant other, Vin Aldolfini, is in a show called The Bronx Wanderers that many of us saw just him and his dad perform for our Christmas party. They stepped up and helped us out during the pandemic. And what we're going to do is have a full show with the full band on stage in the showroom at the Westgate just 3 weeks from today. So you're going to have to act fast to get in on this. There's tickets normally add up to about $100 a person. They've lowered those down. We're going to get the front row, front section, VIP section for us at $65 a person. And the majority of that, a good portion of that's going to go to our foundation and to Santa Claus. So I really can't think of a better way to enjoy a night, buy some tickets, invite your neighbors, invite your friends, get on board, sign up in the Green Book though right away. We got to get these nailed down to get this locked up. And they've won 5 straight Best of Las Vegas awards. For those of you who don't know anything about them, Google them today, check them out. It's a wonderful story that goes through about six decades of music. And a story that's kind of similar to the Jersey Boys. Vin's dad has been in music for a long time, and he knows a lot of folks here, and he made his journey to Las Vegas from the East Coast, and it's a fantastic show. Signed up in the Green Book. I got to smile again? Signed up in the Green Book right away so we can get this locked up and raise a bunch of money for the foundation and Santa Claus. Great job, Ginger. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. And Past President Ginger, could you please go to Past President Karen Wisenhunt?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. The Taberti Classic Golf Putting Tournament the tournament sponsored by Alara Group is on October 6th at Angel Park. We have all our sponsors and they'll be playing up here on the screen for a few minutes. Thank you to all the sponsors that stepped up for it. Now we need players. It's $40 per person, $20 for children under 10. We encourage you to bring your family and friends, co-workers, potential new members. So please sign up in the Green Book as soon as you can. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to run through a couple of really quick things so we don't lose our time. Youth protection training. For those of you that don't know, whether you're new or old, it is a requirement of this Rotary Club. You'll be up next, not to worry. Rotary Club requirement that you participate and receive certification in youth protection training for any person that intends to work with children, whether it's going to TLC, RILA, the Books with Buddies, the mentor program, or any other child-related, although it does not include Santa Claus. So there is a sign up in the book. Please sign up, because if you intend to do anything with children, you need to have that. It'll generate an email, you take a short test, and there you go. So it's very easy. Please be sure to sign up for that. Also, we have a highway cleanup. It should be in the Green Book, September 17th. For those of you that have not done it yet, we do it quarterly. It's a lot of fun. We meet across from the old Bonnie Springs location, split up in 2 ways. We go about 1.5 miles each way, and then afterward, there's a lovely brunch at Jerry Senes's home. So don't miss out on that. Next, we have Jamie. Can you go to Jamie, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Goldsmith. I'm the president of the Southern Nevada SOAR ceremony, honoring military, police, and fire personnel who uphold the Rotary standard of service above self. Our ceremony is September 12th at City Hall, Las Vegas City Hall, from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. I was actually out of Mesquite this morning. I woke up at 4 a.m., drove out there to be their guest speaker, and they're really excited about the ceremony. So they've got a carload of people coming for that. If anybody wants to learn more about SOAR, I will be the guest speaker at the Downtown Las Vegas Rotary Club on Tuesday, as well as the Las Vegas West Rotary Club on Tuesday at noon.
And you have a presentation?
I do. I went to the Star Trek convention this past weekend, and it has become my tradition to bring one of these cans and set it up in the vendor's room. And we collected some donations for the canned food drive. So on behalf of the Trekkies of the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, I'd like to present Barbara Castro, the 25 Club president, a check for $300.
Way to go. And you were what, green and blue this time?
Yeah.
can you take please the microphone to Rose Balaco?
Thank you, Madam President-elect. I know it's a little early for Halloween, but we're starting to plan collecting candy or money for the children for our schools. So there's a sign up in the Green Book. Please sign up, either bring the candy or sign up and charge your account or cash. Thank you.
Now, let me go two more quick ones. Since Stu is not with us here live, but he's up there, please remember the Children's Discovery Museum event for October 22nd. It's in the Green Book for sign up, or you can use the QR code. They still need volunteers, so please think about volunteering some time for straight service at a very fun event. Also, in the Green Book, Green Our Planet, one of our favorites. They're having their fall giant student farmers market. There is in the Green Book a sign-up sheet for that. We're looking for at least 15 people to sign up. It will be a morning setup. It is at the Government Center downtown. Setup is probably going to be around 7:30 in the morning. The actual market is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we will definitely be done with setup well in advance of our meeting, because this is on October 20th, which is a Thursday, and it's our meeting day. So please join in. Again, we had a great time. We also are going to have a booth. So anyone that wants to participate in manning, womaning the booth, please let me know. You'll have to mark that as well on the sign-up sheet. Now going to Greg McGuire, please.
Okay, Rotarians, good afternoon, everybody. Our friend Bill Steeren could not be here today, so he asked me to talk about the Nellis Tour, September 27th from 0900 to 1400 hours. You all know what that time is, Russ? Okay, good. Included in the tour, Thunderbirds Hangar, Weapons School, Security Forces Squadron Dog Kennels. We're going to drop Russ there. And the 66th Rescue Squadron. So this is going to be a great tour. This is going to be at Nellis Air Force Base. I know many have probably been to Nellis before, but you probably haven't seen all these in one shot, especially on the Rescue Squadron. You're going to see some really, really cool stuff. I don't know what the Thunderbirds are going to be able to show you. Probably some jets and stuff like that, but those helicopter guys, that's who you really want to talk to.
Thank you, Greg. Another news flash. We are coming out of COVID stymied events. Spread the Word Nevada is reopening all of their mentor centers. So our opportunities to be mentoring children are going to reopen. We have there are more than 6. There are now about 8 to 10 schools. Many of them are starting with 9 a.m. start times. 10 a.m. start times. Some of them are 8 a.m. start times. It ranges from Beckley, Cunningham, Daly, Detweiler, Martinez, Red Rock, Ronau, Ronzoni, Tate, and Taylor. You need to, if you have not done it before, you need to go through training. The next training is coming up very soon at Spread the Word Nevada. And if you have not received or have your CCSD ID, you're going to have to arrange that. I'm going to start putting that in the Green Book, but come and see me if you're interested so that we can get more of our members back into the mentoring program. We had over 15 when it first started, and we'd like to get back up to that number again. Last but not least, we have Rosalie.
Hello, everyone. We have a super exciting tour coming up. It is going to be at the LVCVA with Brian Yost, who is the Chief Operating Officer there. And we will be doing the tour underneath in the tunnels, followed by a happy hour at the Pepper Mill, who is also celebrating their 50th year in business. So they're really excited about that. At the Pepper Mill, we will collect for that and the tour $25, which will go to the canned food drive. And then also a portion of that will go to the food at the Pepper Mill, and drinks will be on everyone else individually. Parking will be at the LVCVA at no cost. We will be meeting in the parking lot at 3:45. The tour will start at 4 o'clock for probably about an hour, and then we will head over to the Pepper Mill. So really hoping y'all can attend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's it for announcements, and now it is my pleasure. Whoops, we have something else. The tour is the 20th, October 20th, in the evening. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce our membership chairs, Melanie and Nikki, for an induction. All right, fellow Rotarians, on behalf of the Las Vegas Club, it is my privilege to induct the alternate representative of our second corporate member, Ryan Moon of the Boy Scouts of America, who was sponsored by past president and assistant district governor Michael Gordon, who has sadly left us, and will continue to be sponsored by Dr. Nikki Bates. Nikki, if you would please introduce Ryan to the club, after which you can say a few words about yourself.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So a little bit about Ryan Moon. And yes, as Melanie mentioned, he is an alternate for the Boy Scouts of America. Ryan has been a professional scouter for guess how many years? 28 years. That's a long time, Ryan. You don't look that old. After graduating from Brigham Young University, he started his professional career with the Aloha Council in Honolulu, Hawaii. That sounds not like a job. Definitely not like a job. He has worked for the Boy Scouts in Fresno, California, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Lincoln, Nebraska, and has been in Las Vegas since 2011. Ryan does have prior Rotary experience. While in Hawaii, he was a member of the Honolulu South Rotary Club. Ryan and his wife, Jill, who could not be here today, are the proud parents of 3 boys and a daughter. Fun fact, each child was born in a different state. That's that's crazy. When he is not scouting, which is rare, Ryan enjoys all types of sports and enjoys running half marathons. His passion is serving youth and families. So what could be a better fit than for our club? And he is excited to be back in Rotary with us here at the Las Vegas Rotary Club. And here is Ryan.
Thank you very much. Again, it is a pleasure to be back in Rotary after 25 years. And, you know, Rotary and Scouting have a rich tradition, heritage together. And just a couple of fun facts. Paul Harris was really good friends with the first Chief Scout Executive, James E. West. In fact, they toured the country starting Boy Scout councils. And in 1918, Rotary was the very first service club to officially adopt scouting and start sponsoring units. So it's a pleasure to be back again in Rotary, and I look forward to, I know quite a few of you, but looking forward to meeting all of you and working together as we serve our community. Thank you.
Ryan, having been a Rotarian in other clubs and your roles with the Boy Scouts, whose mission is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling them with values of the Scout Oath and Law. You recognize that in becoming a member in our club, you are beginning a great adventure in leadership, in friendship, and in service to your community. You expressed your desire to rejoin Rotary, and you have been approved for membership in this club because we believe in you to be a worthy representative of your vocation, interested in the ideals of Rotary, including the 4-way test, and willing to do your share in translating these ideals into tangible realities, just as you do in the Boy Scouts and did in your former Rotary clubs.
You have agreed to accept obligations attached to your membership in this club, and you obey to the club's constitution and bylaws. The theme for this year's Rotary is Imagine Rotary. And as the new RI President Jennifer Jones has stated, imagine a world what deserves our best, where we can get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. It is our offer of hands-on service, personal growth, leadership development, and lifelong friendships that create purpose and passion. One of the greatest values of Rotary offers is the ability to develop lifelong friendships while serving with our other members locally and internationally, adding a richness to life that is priceless and taking steps toward making the world a better place. Through those steps, united in the ideal of service, you will build houses in which you will never live. You will feed hungry people of every race, creed, and political philosophy in every part of the world. You will educate children you will never know. You will vaccinate children you will never meet. You will dig wells from which you will never drink. You will plant trees under which you will never sit, and you will restore eyesight to those who will never see you. When you become a Rotarian, not only will you be in the Rotary family, but you will have the Rotary family in you. We know that we will receive much from you in help and service, which will enable us to be better Rotarians. And we most heartily offer you the right hand of Rotary Fellowship. On behalf of the Las Vegas Rotary Club, and Rotary International, may I welcome you to our Rotary Wheel, which faces inward for friendship and fellowship and outward to service the community in the world. May I ask everyone to please stand. All right. With the presentation of this Rotary pin by your sponsor, by which your fellow Rotarians and the community will recognize you as a Rotarian and ask that you wear it proudly. With that, it is our pleasure and honor to congratulate you as being inducted as the newest member in the Las Vegas Rotary Club.
Two things. Your certificate will be forthcoming. Oh, it made it. It made it. Yay. And I am pleased to announce this is our second alternate for our second corporate member, which is the Boy Scouts of America. Welcome. Okay. Next thing, we've got about 5 minutes before we start up the next round. So enjoy. A little fellowship, a little food. I'm loving the bell so that we can have people hear when other people are speaking. I was remiss and I apologize to 25 Club President Barbara Castro. Please give your announcement.
Okay. Keep it quick. Okay, so 25 Club Social is tonight. It's going to be at the Parkway Tavern on Flamingo. It's going to be at 6 o'clock to 8. We are going to also raise money for the canned food drive, and you will be able to win prizes and appetizers will be provided. Please come. It's going to be fun. If you need the directions, you can shoot me a text and I can get you there. No problems. Okay, thank you.
You're a gem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm running late again. Okay, now I've forgotten the first half. Who do I get pulls the card? That's the speaker, isn't it? Never mind. See, I did it backward. Okay, so here's for the first ticket. Last four numbers, 2279. To pull for the joker, 2279. Bob Pizer. I have already shuffled them. Yay! Still alive. Wait, Bob, hold your card. Hold your card. See, we're both learning. And so, wait a minute, and you get your consolation prize. And for the Lowry's, excuse me, for the Lowry's Bucks, ladies and gentlemen, last four numbers, 2192. 219, up. Pete Smolis. Nancy, it's Pete Smolis. Pete Smolis. There you go. And you and Pam get a treat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm just about at the right time. I would like to bring up Greg McGuire, please, to introduce our speaker.
All right, thanks, President-elect Tony. Where you at? Okay. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Bruce Springsteen, who's joined us remotely. You know, welcome to Jungle Land there, Bruce. So it's my pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker, Phil Klavork. He's with Clark County, and you're going to find out he's with a lot of things, actually. Phil I was first introduced to Phil through Michael Gordon. And Michael said, well, you know, you're an American rugby player. You don't know anything about playing rugby. Phil is a Canadian rugby player and referee, and he doesn't know anything about winning rugby matches against the Springboks. So he said, you guys might actually get along. But Phil is, he's into a lot of things. And so he has a corner office over in the Clark County business, in the Clark County government office. And he is the economic development liaison for Clark County. So I'll go over there when I'm running a permit, stop in and say, hey, what's going on in Clark County? He goes, I can't tell you anything. All right. And then he's also doing the nuclear waste. He's leading that for Clark County. So many times he's out in different places working with that, with the federal government. And of course, that's a big deal in Nevada. And it's also something he says he can't tell me anything about. Phil was a former Canadian Royal Mounted police officer. So that's where he kind of started his career, and then he moved down here to the United States. One thing that he will tell me about is rugby, and he's going to talk today about the economic development and also the nuclear waste issues that we have here, and then touch a little bit on the rugby side. So with that, Phil, welcome aboard.
I don't need the step stool. If you guys can just cue up my presentation, it'd be great. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no presentation.
I just wanted to catch a few people. So when I was asked to do this, how many of you guys remember when I did this about 3-4 years ago? Anybody? No, I wasn't that impactful. So here we go. So about 3+ years ago, I was up here and I gave an overview of where we stand, what our vision is, and how we're going to be great citizens of America because of all of the growth and opportunities that and Las Vegas has presented the world. So I'll start there. I think it was just over 3 years ago, Michael Gordon was the president at the time, and as Greg alluded to, I was invited to be a guest speaker, and we got to talking about where are we going to go. By the way, did you hear my Canadian accent when I said about? Yeah, it's going to come out. There we go. Just came out again. That's okay. It's all right. So when we got to talking about where we saw the future 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and the interesting thing is I love data, I love statistics, but I really like connecting with people, because when you start connecting with people, you get past all the BS and the statistical analysis, because we all know that whatever we want to show, we could show in a data chart. But when you actually start talking to people who are investing and growing and being a part of something, and they have great vision on certain aspects and everything else, love being a part of that. So prior to COVID, I had $23 billion worth of projects sitting on my desk in various forms of approval and in process. When COVID hit, guess what happened to those $23+ billion projects? They literally evaporated in 6 months. Evaporated. I had a $6 billion project that totally was completely funded. No outside money except for the VC that was involved. Totally evaporated. Never came back. So these are the kinds of things that were floating around. We'll get into where we are and what the future holds, but just put everything in light. COVID and the pandemic really had a massive impact, as we all know. Mentally, physically, financially, it just impacted everybody at different levels in different ways. But when you start looking at businesses as an example, I got a little ticked off at my counterparts. I did. I'm a connector, and I love trying to help people. And when the pandemic started, and I contacted the governor's office, and I said, what's our emergency plan for recovery? Because even in March or April, in fact, I still have the email from April 2nd, I think it was, of 2021, somewhere in that time, no, 20, I guess. I sent the email off to the governor's office and asked, what's our recovery plan? What's our strategy? How are we going to help people? How are we going to help businesses? Crickets. Crickets. Surprisingly, right? I mean, everybody has a great plan until you go implement it. And some places you don't even have a plan and you can't implement it. So if we move along a few months, and every month, and I also sit on part of what's not in the bio is I also sit on the emergency planning committee for Clark County. Why? Because obviously I have a connection with the nuclear side of things, but also in the economic recovery strategy and everything else. If there, God forbid, there was an earthquake or something like that, how do we recover out of that? So out of every negative situation, excuse me, I look at, there's always lessons to be learned, and there's ways to not do things. So every month for, I think, 7, 8 months, I came along and I would ask every month at our monthly meeting and say, what's our strategy? What's our plan? And every time was, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. Now, we all know we can't keep pushing that can down the road when people are losing their jobs, standing in food lines that are miles long, and going through the health welfare, and everybody's being divided and all that kind of stuff. It's not a good situation. Meanwhile, my entire office is literally shut down. Everybody is home, and I'm in my office every day. Why? Because I needed to be a part of it. So what did I do in that interim? Well, I wasn't working on economic recovery. I was kind of working on food recovery. How do we get food to our food banks? So if you recall back in that time of year, and 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, there was no slaughterhouses open. The cattle were being left to die in the ranches field in Texas and those kinds of things. I got hold of a friend of mine who's a rancher in northern Nevada, connected me with ranchers down in Texas, and guess what? We ended up getting half a dozen
truckloads of cattle, brought them to Central Nevada, sat on their ranches in Central Nevada. So when the slaughterhouses reopened, guess what? We were able to bring some cattle into the slaughterhouses and at least get some food and money to purchase more food, right? But this is part of the problem with government. If it's not part of your job, guess what? Nah, I'm not doing it. Well, we have too many of those people. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not running for office, just to be clear on something. But I look at it and I sat back and I said to upper management, and the second part of that is because of a discussion I had on nuclear. And I was telling people what I was doing in Texas with the food bank. And they said, oh, by the way, a representative from Washington State, guess what they grow up there? Lots of apples, lots of potatoes. And with the restaurants and everything that were shut down, they had millions of pounds of potatoes sitting in warehouses just rotting. And the guy even told me on the phone with half a dozen witnesses on the phone, he says, you pay for the fuel. I have the trucks. I have the drivers. I have the food. It's yours for free. Yours for free. So I go to the county. Guess what happens? I ask them $20,000 for fuel to send half a dozen trucks down a load of potatoes. New $20,000. Now, I'm only putting that out there because nobody even thought about these kinds of problems that all of a sudden manifested literally overnight. That's the kind of disaster that we had with the pandemic. It's not easy, and sadly, is you got to put things in your plans and say, you know, we just can't live in a silo and think that we're going to live in a happy world and not be influenced by outside influencers. So in this case, so I'm moving on. So as the pandemic's kind of winded through its course, however you want to meander, they had a lot of discussions on about a year or so ago that when inflation started going up, and anybody here in the banking sector? Yeah, right. All right. So you're going to appreciate this. About 14 months ago, was probably June of last year, there was a big push by banks to look for investments. And I was a person who was trying to connect the VC world and opportunities. So one of the biggest opportunities, where I'm going to transition to some what's going on in today in Clark County. One of the things that we have a big problem with is workforce development or workforce housing, right? We don't have enough. I'll get to that in a second, some data. I'll give you some data. But the reality was we don't have enough housing, which means that where are the people going to live if they're going to come in there and they're going to try to make $20 an hour and they can't afford to live in a $450,000, $500,000 house, or God forbid, where the rent has now gone, right? So everything is a cause and effect. So I spoke with some serious bankers out of May Rhyme with London and England, and they're actually putting $50 million forward on projects and projects and projects to help build workforce development or workforce housing. So in those cases, keep in mind what that is. Workforce housing is specifically for people who have jobs, who meet a minimum requirement, but a maximum, they don't hit a requirement where it kicks them out of a place to live. In other words, they're somewhere around a $40,000 to $60,000 a year annual income. I don't know what that parameters is anymore because I'm out of it. But the point is that trying to connect these people. And I love that. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, it's like literally it's a connection world. I love the LinkedIn world because a lot of people connect with me through rugby. I know the guy who knows the guy, or people connect through a sport because we have something else to bond. It's no different than people in Rotary, no different than people in the police force, and no people in the fire department or military. We all have those, or church. We all have those common bonds. And who are you going to go to first if you're looking for help and support, right? I just happen to have a job where I literally can try to help people or jobs. So moving out of that, so then what happens is that within, by the end of last year, probably had about $6 or $7 billion worth of projects that were now being brought forward as new opportunities, including the new arena that's going down in Blue Diamond, as an example. We know that we finished the Western LVCVA Convention Center. Boring company. Elon Musk sat in my office 5+ years ago. He says, Bill, he says, if you're the smartest guy at the table, you're at the wrong table. Look around your table, right? I mean, in all respect, he was pretty smart when he said that. The difference is he could find the smartest people to sit at his table. in order to make things work. But he brought the proposal of putting a tunnel system, this is not a new idea. I mean, Subway's been kicked around for Las Vegas and Clark County for years, but he was coming in funding it. Big difference. Wasn't the county helping support it financially, wasn't the cities helping financially support it, not even the casinos. The casinos have a responsibility of paying the stop. That's all they do, but he pays for everything else. So it's proof of concept and everything else. But when we look at how things have evolved over the last couple of years, the Hyperloop project and the Boring Company project, all of these things are going faster and faster and faster. And pardon that pun, right? But when the diversity and the diversification of the economy, probably since '08, right? Since we know that we had the financial crash, there's been a big paradigm shift in the economy and economics of the Strip. And I'm using the Strip as an example. Clearly, it goes beyond the Strip. So go back to 2008, 70% of all the total revenue, gross revenue receipts on the Strip was gaming oriented. Today, it's 30%. It is completely inverted. So now it's hospitality, it's internet, not movies, but it's shows, restaurants, room taxes, and everything else, right? And that, a matter of fact, if you recall, those people that were here 3+ years ago, I talked a little bit about the Raider Stadium and how we put that deal together. But the diversification became a real critical thing for us many years ago, especially after the crash of '08, because we cannot depend on a single source or have a predominant single source. We still do, but instead of 70% of the, or whatever the number is, of the workforce working on the Strip, now it's less than 60%, which is a big improvement. But also, if there is an economic downturn, and there will be, let's be honest, there will be, just a matter of to what severity it will be and when it will happen. The idea is that we have the ability now to sustain it and get through it faster and quicker. And I will acknowledge that I was wrong on the pandemic failure. I was wrong on it. I thought it was going to take us 3 to 5 years to come out of it. It took us less than 16 months to come out of it. Why, Bill? Because if anybody's flown on planes in the last year and a half, you could tell that there's a lot of people who've been on those planes who've never been on a plane before. Thank you, stimulus, right? They brought a lot of money to town. But also, if you keep in mind what happened out of the pandemic, I think the number is around 62 or 63% of all restaurants went bankrupt during the pandemic. It's around that point. Now, that doesn't mean 62 or 63% are closed. What they mean is that they've obviously restructured the finances, or they sold their business, or another business came in and took it over, right? That's why you probably don't see the big change. But the number is in excess of 60% of the restaurants in Clark County. Interesting thing is that if you look at the data for restaurant attendance and participation in visitors, the restaurants are doing very, very well in Clark County compared to other major cities. That's because we have setting records every friggin' month at the airports on visitation. And conventions are back. Big, 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 big thing for us. So there's some real bright lights coming forward. Pardon that pun out of that too. When we look at how do we do it? Like, people ask about the train. I can't tell you what's going to happen with the train. Anybody can tell me about what's going to happen with the train? Brightline can't even tell me what's going on with the train. And they're the ones who got the permit or are trying to do it. Now, we all know that they've been trying to get it done. I think they will be successful. Eventually they will be. But the big thing to the west of us, i.e. California, is going to be a big stumbling block. I mean, the permitting process for California is astronomical compared to what it is for Southern Nevada. So there's a big issue. Hotels, I have a friend of mine who's actually going to be building the largest hotel in Las Vegas. Has not been announced, but they have bought the land, and it's going to be 5,800 rooms. I think the largest hotel in Las Vegas, help me out here, MGM is 5,050 or something like that, 5,005. 5,800 rooms, so over 10% larger than the MGM. They're back. They're back big time. And there's other projects like that. I know Jackie's project, the netball arena, they have a deadline next week that they have to meet in order to keep that going, and they have their financial backers behind that. My point is that there is a lot of venture capital money sitting out there. And where I was going to go with the banking discussion was, why are all these VC groups coming forward? Well, the VC groups are coming forward is because they're looking for tangible projects They're willing to take a little higher risk than they were 5 years ago because they're losing 10+% sitting in their bank accounts doing nothing today, right? It's called inflation. And if you go around the room, you ask yourself, okay, are you willing to give up 1 month of your salary? Just 1 month of your salary every year for the last year and a half. And probably most people will say, heck no. Well, that's what we're doing with the inflation rate being as high as it is. So prior to the pandemic, I think it was somewhere in over 60% of the population in the United States lived paycheck to paycheck. They're living paycheck to paycheck. How today? You got to ask yourself. So there's so much more pressure put on people today to be able to survive. And they're going to give up. They're going to be giving up a lot of tangibles or discretionary spending, as they would refer to as, such as they won't go out to restaurants. Maybe they won't go to movies. Maybe they won't take them to shows. So I'm not a prima donna, and I don't try to be a doomsday guy. But I do think that we can expect some kind of a downturn because people won't have the money to fly. They won't have the money to come to spend it in the restaurants and everything else. And I think there will be an impact. Will it be measurable? Absolutely. They measure every dime on that strip, right? Not like 40 years ago when the mouth was running place, but they measure it today. So how do we get past the negative side of things? Housing is still doing well. Yeah, we've kind of peaked and we've come down a little bit, which is okay. It's okay. Unless you wanted to try to time the peak of the selling for your house, sorry. Good luck if you're able to do that. But for the most part, 5% reduction in price of cost of a house brings a lot more people actually into the market. The problem is going to be now the interest rates, because it's going to force people out there where they were able to afford a $400,000 house. Now they can't afford a $400,000 house. So ultimately, and rents, that's another big thing that's going to happen. People who own properties, especially over the last year and a half, when they were given the rent forgiveness and that kind of stuff, and they weren't getting paid, and now the landlords are putting their rents up. So there's a slinky effect. Once it gets going, and it keeps going. And ultimately, what we got to try to do is, how do we measure, and more importantly, how do we prepare for the downside? Everybody can prepare for the upside. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll go buy a new car. I'll get a bigger home. I'll get an RV. I'll put premium gas in my car, right? But you got to be prepared for the downside because it's going to happen. So I caution people on that kind of stuff. We look at a lot of things. Carrie and I, we sit on the STEM board for Lead Academy, been a part of that for 4+ years. And education has got to be one of our top priorities. If it's not our top priority, it's got to be top 2, 3, whatever the other ones are. It's all argumentative. Whatever people feel where their passion is, that's great. But the idea is that everybody has to be able to help in somehow in education. No doubt. There's a massive need. I'm going to take a shout out for the school board that the academy, the board that we sit on. It's the first time in history of the United States that the school in North Las Vegas, the Lead STEM Academy, not only was the school nominated for Magnet School of the Year, the principal was nominated for the Principal of the Year, and one of the teachers was nominated for Teacher of the Year. So yes, we have these great schools around here, but we got to do more. And I don't know what that is. I'm not part of that side of things, but we do try to do our little thing in the areas of influence. And I think that's one of the big messages is, control the controllables and influence what you can in a positive way. I know that's what one of Rotary's messages are, right? I'm not sure how much time I have here, but oh, geez. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears. I'll talk a little bit about nuclear, and then I'll finish up with rugby, if you don't mind, just appease me for a couple minutes. With the nuclear waste stuff, I've been doing that, and I'm the program manager now for 15+ years. Anybody here wherever work on the test site? Anybody work on the Department of Energy, NNSA? Only 1, 2? Yeah. It's a state. The test site, Nevada test site, or NNSS, is bigger than Rhode Island. That's how big it is. So when you're talking about hundreds of different types of activities are going on, it's not about disposing nuclear waste. That is one cog in the giant wheel of the Department of Energy and NNSA, Department of Defense, et cetera, whoever else is up there. Phenomenal research, phenomenal engineering stuff. They're spending somewhere close to 2 billion a year for the next 40 years, I believe it is, on redeveloping the whole test site. I mean, the infrastructure is how old? When was it created? 1951, 52? A lot of that infrastructure is already 70 years old. And if you're going to do these criticality experiments that they do up there, you got to have a reliable power source. I mean, God forbid you have a pole that's rotted out because of termites or scorpions. Big tarantula migration going on there right now for those who want to get creeped out. So with the nuclear waste, we've managed it. We keep well in excess of 99% of all shipments outside of the Las Vegas Valley. We were very successful on doing that because that was one of our biggest concerns, obviously, is the accident that can have and be impactful. That doesn't mean there isn't a risk. There's always a risk. There's always a risk. But at least we've reduced the risk. And we've had that agreement with the Department of Energy through the governor's office, and I'm going to say since 2010. It's been modified minutely over 12 years. We also have emergency, it's called the Emergency Waste Management Group, and basically what it does, Emergency Preparedness Waste Group, that's what it is. So every ton or cubic foot material that is disposed of there. By the way, none of it is high-level waste. None of it is spent fuel. This is all what's considered low-level waste. We can have a science discussion on that anytime. Not enough time right here. I'll be clear on that. But none of it is high-level or spent fuel, which is where our big concern lies. So the low-level waste gets disposed up there, and for every cubic foot that gets disposed, an income is derived out of the disposal for the Emergency Preparedness Group that includes Nye County, White Pine, Clark County, and all the counties that are in Esmeralda, et cetera, Lincoln, are all in contiguous relationship with Nye County. So there is actually a benefit that goes to our emergency response and training. The number one emergency response training for radiation is up there. Because why? Because there's a lot of contamination. And I'm laughing, I'm giggling at it because if you're in emergency management where I was and everything else, and you say, well, there's nothing like getting a real life exercise when you actually have stuff that you can actually go and get that exposure and recognition, you're going to get that. And so it's all managed, all trained. And I think there are somewhere north of 120,000 emergency responders trained from the United States up at that test site so far. And it could be a lot more than that. So, with the nuclear waste side of things, that's still going on. Sadly, well, not sadly, there's a renaissance going on in the nuclear world. Clearly, there's a concern about carbon emissions, and there's a concern about reliable energy sources. Ask Germany. They shut down all of their nuclear reactors effective 2 years ago. Japan shut all theirs down after Fukushima. Got it? That's your knee-jerk reaction. But for every cause and reaction, there's also consequence, right? And no matter what side of the fence you got on, you need three things in life. You need air, you need water, and you need energy. Yeah, you may need a few other things, but that's the three primary things you need. If you lose one of those out of that triangle, it's going to be a real dark, cold winter for Europe. Anyway, we'll go through that. Final thing for me is, because I want to leave some time for questions, of course, is rugby. So I formed a rugby foundation just over 4 years ago. We're in 17 U.S. states, and we're in 16 countries. And our primary mission on that is to help grow the game globally. There's a strong ethos bond, and there's a strong ethical bond within rugby players and people who are affiliated to the sport, not just players. It's also Title IX compliant, men and women. Women play the contact sport that goes right directly into a World Cup championship and the Olympics. That's why it's a real passion for me and others around, because ultimately it does give other pathways to be in the sport world. In the last 2 years, we focused, not focused entirely, we focused a lot on the mental health side of things, because by playing or participating in a physical sport, it's improving your mental health. And I have an interview, just give me a second here. We did an event at the Scouts, 6 of them over the summer. And the very first event we did, we had a lot of parents actually out there playing with their kids. That's something we haven't seen in a long time, right? Actually going out and playing a sport. But there was one gentleman who's a retired Air Force, but he's doing contract work at Nellis, and it always resonates to my heart. His son has mental health issues, serious mental health issues, like he'll have a breakdown like that. And he was out there playing with his son for an hour and a half in the heat of the summer in June, right? And he was out there playing with his son, and he came off because he was tired, and the son kept on playing. And he sat there sat on the sideline. I was talking to him, and he said, I was so worried about my son because he has these breakdowns like this. And he said, he's just having such a great time. Now, if you think about how impactful that is, father has obviously concern. Son is totally unaware of what's going on around him because now he's focused on something else that's kept his mind busy for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, that's a winner, absolute winner. So, we're going to actually participate with the Santa Claus project with the Scouts. Thank you. And our contribution is going to be, we're going to do a rugby activity that morning down at the Scouts facility. And I wish I had them, but I'm creating rugby balls with the Rotary logo on it and the Scouts logo on it. And we're going to give it to all the 375 kids that are participating.
Thank you.
So, at that, I appreciate your time and I thank you, bottom of my heart, really. Good.
Thanks for speaking to us. It was great.
Thank you.
It's been pretty much common knowledge that Northern Nevada is doing a better job of bringing in primary wage industries that are not resort related. Do you have any viewpoints on that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting an echo on it. Would you mind asking the question again?
It appears that Northern Nevada, the Reno area, is doing a better job of getting primary wage industries that are not resort related.
Yes.
And can you comment on that?
Yeah, so a lot of that had to do with Silicon Valley, just to be perfectly honest with that. Las Vegas has a mantra, obviously, around gaming and hospitality. Northern Nevada, well, they had some of that. They also had a very aggressive economic development group up there. And when things are going south, and part of the pun is actually east, out of the Silicon Valley, a lot of these corporations came out of there and thinking, hey, they got a lot of land. It's still close to Silicon Valley, that kind of stuff. So that's one of the reasons why they went to the east side things. The governor's office has an established criteria for wages and everything else to get incentives. We don't have that in Southern Nevada because we don't offer incentives to companies. That's, you can argue either side of how things work. So if you had a company, let's say Honda, as an example, and by the way, we've got burned. If you remember what we did up in Apex about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we put away a lot of land, gave them $1 billion to do it, and guess what? They disappeared. I forget the name of that automotive company. Solyndra was another one, the solar project and everything else. But yes, there is a disparity up there, but it's, I don't know how you solve that from a statewide, except there's a minimum requirements. That's what it is. The companies are the ones who establish, how did they recruit? And we've had this discussion many times, is that we have Google here, we have Apple here, we have Intel, we have all these companies. They're just not the big Tesla factories. And one of the big problems, and if you go back about 4 years ago, you remember the Amazon headquarters? Remember that? Everybody was like, rah, rah, rah. I was not a rah, rah, rah guy. I didn't do anything to oppose it. But if you thought about it, they're looking at bringing 50,000 jobs, corporate level jobs, right? Where would you house them? Where would those people come from? So what they'll end up doing is probably taking 25% or plus of them out of corporate America that's already here, the MGMs, the Caesars, or whatever the case is. That's not a bad thing because it does create a trickle up effect and all that kind of stuff. It also creates a trickle down effect. If those people would have came in here and all of a sudden your $1 million home went to 1.5, great if you're selling, not so good if you're investing. So there's a negative. You got to look at the whole analysis. And I know I answered it in a different way. So yes, ma'am.
Hi, I was wondering if you could reveal what is going to be placed on the old Wet and Wild property between Sahara and Turnberry where I live, because that monster Fontainebleau in the front. That thing has blocked off so much of our view. Can you tell me I know the Siegel Development Company, I think, recently bought it. So, and there is some activity out there. Can you reveal what's going to go on, please?
Yep, it's been released, it's been talked about. That's the Jackie Robs, or Jackie, thank you. That's the arena they want to put there. The netball arena. They called it a netball arena. I'm not sure if it's going to be focused on that. They're supposed to be submitting more plans to keep the application alive next week, sorry, the first week of September. And they've already been made aware that they were required to do that because that's had several extensions. Whatever happens, there's something going there. Sorry, but there's something going to go there. I know other people have talked about buying that land, but they are not selling it yet that I'm aware of. Oh, sorry.
As a token of our appreciation for your time and for your wonderful presentation, we are awarding you the Soul Power Award, which is a donation of a pair of shoes to a child in need in your name. And we thank you so very much for visiting with us again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Members, one thing, those of you that are on the Centennial Committee, the Vintage Room is the location. And is there something else? Oh, I'm sorry. And in parting, we cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world does need all the good that we can do. Until next week and President Katie's return to lead us, I thank you for your time this week and last week. Meeting adjourned.